Y'all, a moment of silence here for our first team officially relegated out of the tournament. It is a sad time, but it's time to, eliminate one more. Why not? Let's see who's up on the chopping block.
We're just going.
We're going right into it.
Just right to the throat on that.
Right
one,
to the
Sierra.
throat.
I wasn't ready for that. That was lethal, Sierra. I respect it.
Now we're gonna rephrase it. See who's gonna have a chance to be moving on into the tournament to try and make their way back into LCS Challengers for our summer split. We've already let go of one of our provisional teams, and we will be saying goodbye to another one, as it will be FlyFam going up against TLF. Both these teams, too, struggled a little bit during the season. We get to see some highlights, we get to see some lowlights, but not enough really just being able to come together.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that we have this matchup between two NACL provisional teams in the lower bracket, with one of them getting eliminated at the conclusion of this best of three. I think a lot of people would have expected this to be our upper bracket matchup that we saw yesterday between Taco and Tony, but unfortunately for them, both of these teams got knocked out in a 2-0 fashion down to the lower bracket, and we have some clips of some of the things that FlyFam were not necessarily doing super well against Tony. This is a really interesting clip to me specifically because Lunacia has a crazy Malphite, and it seems like they weren't on the same page throughout the series.
I think that, for the side of FlyFam, it wasn't just, not being on the same page. I also think some of the drafts, especially this Game 2 draft, you have Poke Ferris plus Talia and a tank into Jax. Tony tops Jax at that. So when things start going bad, they get a lot worse. And that's where things, I think, got really hard for the side of FlyFam in this series. So really want to see if we see a couple better drafts from them to try and set things up for FlyFam a little bit better, because I still think that I favor FlyFam a bit in this matchup.
Yeah, you see here, they tried to commit all the way to a play and then overstayed their welcome a little bit. It allowed Hyper to die. Hyper is this new addition that came into FlyFam and actually made them look a little bit better throughout the conclusion of the regular season, but not enough for them to get to that next level.
And going up against them today, it is going to be Team Liquid Honda first. Now, both of these teams, we hit on it. There has been that little bit of struggles. We also saw the swap here, specifically looking at that ADC role, back into Mia going into this. And we'll have to see now, with the lives on the line, if Team Liquid Honda first will be able to get it together and be able to pull through.
And this is a team, for me, I think they've been at their best when they were playing through Surdy on the top side. But I also think one of the reasons that they're here, City didn't have his best performance against Dardoch, especially this Elise game. I don't think he got enough early game. And then when you don't get enough early game as Elise, things get hard for you later. I'm okay with TLF really trying to play for this strong priority. I think that there were some good moments. Also, please, Surdy or Rovex, block the Cyan ult. I know it can be buffered by Triss, but it's so much damage. They're just these little moments that I feel like brought TLF to this state where I will say, I didn't have each of our challengers teams here or provisional teams as guarantees to get back into NACL. I'd say it was a 50-50, that probably one of the teams gets in or not, but I am very surprised that they are both here. So I'm really hoping to see some of the looks that we saw from them throughout the season to at least prove that they can take down Maryville, because we're going to need to see some good looks from these teams that they do want to have a chance of taking down Maryville, who have had a good tournament.
And we do have a snippet of a history between these teams as well, of course. The fact that they are two of our provisional teams, we have seen them play off against each other during our regular season. And this was actually really recent. This was week 7, I believe. And this was where FlyFam was able to get the upper hand.
It's actually the last day that we had a regular season. And FlyFam, I think big difference to them, it was Hyper coming in, and then also Lunacia had a really big series against Surdy.
Yeah, there's that quadra kill on the Jax. Important to note that TL was playing with LJX, not Mia, so a bit of a different roster for this provisional team. But I don't know if that necessarily was the big difference maker in how this matchup ended up going, because FlyFam really dominated as they were on a good, upward trajectory towards the end of the season.
That was the thing with a couple of the last end of the season things, especially when it came to some of our provisional teams, because we did get to see then brighter moments from teams like FlyFam, but it was just at a moment that it was way too little too late.
I think that with FlyFam, I mean, a big part of it, like as Grapes was even talking about, like Hyper joining, right? Hyper was on Supernova, joined FlyFam when they had that jungle mix-up / situation that they ended up having. Hyper really helped start, like, give this team more direction and also fix some of the issues they had at the later stages of the game where they were getting leads, but they weren't able to close things out mid to late. That changed when Hyper came in for FlyFam, and I think that Hyper against City is an area that FlyFam has an advantage going into today.
I do want to focus in on a mainstay since the beginning, though, in Lunacia, because regardless of how the record's been going, Lunacia has been somebody that we've actually talked about quite highly despite the team's record in this.
Yeah, somebody who really nobody had any idea who he was coming into the season for NACL, was a sub on 100 Thieves next in the summer split, but really turned things up, especially on the later half of the split, where not only was he trying to find solo kills in lane, but really being able to improve his ability to find flanks, which got FlyFam a lot of those late game wins that they did not have at the beginning of the season.
That is an area that Nasia did improve a lot, like how he was positioning in team fights later. Still an area that I feel like Surdy has a little bit to work on, but also Surdy, I feel like both of these top laners are challengers level top laners that we have. It's going to be sad to say goodbye to one of them because Surdy, on a team that really struggled in challengers, Surdy laned so well and still played very well at many points in this season. And I really want to see if Surdy can step up today. I think he needs to if he wants to propel his team forward. This is a player that I have a lot of confidence in. I think this guy really does lane well. It's just, sometimes playing fights, it's not always the best on his champs. But when he does play fights well, he always comes in with an advantage because of how well this guy plays lane. He is a very, very good laner.
And just goes back to the fact that we have to say goodbye to one of these top lanes, goodbye to one of these teams going into today. When these players have stepped up, we've gotten to see great things, and this is really going to be it going into today, where we're really going to have to see the most of both of them.
Yeah, and again, when we looked at that last matchup between FlyFam and Team Liquid first, it was Lunacia who got the better end of the top lane matchup. And I think an interesting story as well is the fact that Surdy was somebody who actually was mentoring Lunacia a little bit coming into the season, and now they're facing off against each other with one of them going to be eliminated from contention in the promotion tournament.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I was about to fire away. We got some head-to-head stats just to, one more time to talk about these guys here. I know.
We're same page. We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, as I mean, both these top winners again, like for TLF, Surdy being up gold, I think it's like, yes, they did play through top, but also it speaks so much to how well Surdy did lane. Nasia, I think that he was a little bit stronger at the earlier stages of the split, but again, 24 solo kills for someone that we didn't know anything about, as Grapes was talking about. Like, the only competitive experience he had was playing for the University of Oregon. Like, not even a team to like really have like get far in CLOL ever. Like, for him to have this kind of split was really strong. I think that he did leave us with a lot of positive moments, and excited to see these two top laners go head-to-head today.
I like the call out for the positive GD at 15, especially considering that TL first record was not good at all, which means that they were losing down in gold a lot of the time. So seeing somebody like Surdy have this level of performance in that laning phase, obviously you mentioned it was a bright spot, and this is somebody who we've been watching develop in North America for the last couple of years. It was in the Evil Geniuses ecosystem, and now looking to bounce back into the Challengers tier with the split at TL first. Of course, could be eliminated today, but I think that it's a really good look for Surdy if he can have a great performance today, even if the TL first doesn't necessarily win against Maryville.
I like how you're like prophesying, like, oh wait a second, maybe in the future, but we'll have to see. One of these teams is going to be eliminated in just a couple of games. We'll have to see in game one who can get that upper edge and maybe take that first step into the next round. It's time for the draft though, so let's go.
Thank you so much, Sierra. I'm excited for another one of her halftime shows. I've had a great time for both of them that we've had today. So, not wanting this game to end quickly, but that's all I'm saying. It's been a good time today.
I've only had good times today, Grapes. Hopefully that continues. Unfortunately, I'm going to have a little bit of a bummer saying goodbye to one of our Challengers teams now from the provisional squads that made it into this tournament. I'm going to be a little bit bummed about that. I think that each team, we did see some nice moments, especially towards the top side of the map. But we'll see which team can come together today to make sure that they have the right to fight for their spots, get back against Maryville moving forward in this tournament. Big best of 3 for each of our teams here.
Yeah, topside just becomes even more interesting when you take into account that the team that awaits the winner of this matchup has Niles and Odd Orange on their team, who really like to focus around the top side of the map. So another test on top of Lunasi and Surdy facing off against each other. But we're into picks and bans for game number 1. FlyFam taking blue side, TL taking red. You see the Karthus and the Elise band away from FlyFam, targeting City very, very heavily.
I was actually somewhat surprised to see the Maokai ban here. I thought that FlyFam might be setting up for that Maokai early, but more picks that they might have up their sleeve as a big focus towards City. I find that interesting too, just given how many champs that City played throughout the split. The fact that they are throwing so many bans at him. This guy, I think he played like 17 unique champions in 30 games. So to have this many bans go towards City, I will say I think the Tristana and Jace are big for the side of TLF, given how well Aspect can play Trist, and then the Jace for Surdy is really big. Aspect, they can flex that. So I think FlyFam just really want to deny that strat. And guess what? One of the things we almost always see banned against Hyper, it is that Lee Sin, and he's got his hands on that for game 1.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. Hyper, of course, the Supernova jungler before getting promoted to FlyFam, was playing a lot of Lee Sin back then. And
he
now
always plays a lot of Lee Sin.
And now getting the opportunity back at the NACL level after his time with TSM. Has always been really good at this champion. I'm excited to see how he can navigate this early game that FlyFam have been really good at throughout the year.
Yeah, you know what the best part about being remote is, Grapes, is that I can throw up career win rates, real easy, just like this. Hyper, in his career, most played champ, Lee Sin, 29 games, 69% win rate.
Nice.
Pretty nice.
Very
on
nice.
The side. On the side of the Lee Sin. So, hey, that is going to be answered, though, by Annie Vi. That is a 2v2 that can shut down the Lee Sin. So, we'll see if FlyFam want to take the answer to Annie now. There are a lot still on the board, like Syndra, Ori, and Victor are all available, but whoever you have to take into Annie does have to be able to survive that onslaught of Vi plus Annie, that point and click. Pretty deadly, pretty tough to deal with, and bot lane has really been dropped here in priority, given all the focus that we have on this top side.
It will be the Ahri locked in for Blaze. This is something that he looked really good on when he was teammates with Dragoon in 2022 as a part of No Team and Cincinnati Fear. A player that really popped off in that season, really made a big jump, which got him this promotion into the NACL in the first place. We're looking to see more out of him today up against Aspect, and this is definitely comfort for him. The only question is, will it be able to survive the point and click that the mid jungle of TLF does have?
Oh, and we have a Kennen coming in here for Surdy. So, old school matchup against Renekton. Kennen has seen, I'd say, quite a few buffs that has really gotten Kennen back into play. Kennen, the idea you can kind of chip down the Renekton, and when he does dash in, you have tools to deal with that. See if Surdy can execute that lane matchup. I think Surdy plays out his lanes really consistently well in the top side of the map, and if TLF want to move forward, he's going to need to do that again today. But with all the focus dropped on bot lane, curious to see what we end up going for. TLF could be setting up for something like a Lucian Nami, which wouldn't be bad into the Lee Sin Renekton, as Lucian has a lot of space and a lot of peeling tools already available for him, given the Annie plus the Kennen showing.
Yeah, Mia had a lot of really great Lucian Nami games with Evil Genius's Prodigies back last year as well. I'm just bringing in all of my tier 3 knowledge here, because there's a lot of players in this ecosystem that did get promoted up to the NACL with the expansion.
Well, it's also fun too, because Mia, with that Lucian, Mia is a 5-role challenger player. So Lucian, of course, having been played top, having been played mid in past metas, it is a champ that I feel like Mia is uniquely specialized on. Also, Mia was a very early adapter of that first strike Lucian, making it more of a mid-game champ that ended up being picked up later around the world. So I do want to give Mia a lot of credit, and kind of why I bring up Lucian Nami here. I know it's a lot lower down the totem pole in terms of priority, but that could be a good option here for TLF. Or, of course, Zeri Lulu's up as well, the other part of the handshake we started the season off with, and that looks to be the call here for Mia.
Yeah, speaking of early season, this was Mia's most played champion in the Challengers League for this year, before, of course, taking that leave of absence and coming back here in the promotion tournament. Will we see Lucian Nami on the other hand as well? Because, get a bit of a throwback. I don't know.
I think Varus is actually pretty good. You can just go, like, really try and crush hard. But no, they're actually going to deny the Lulu and take the Sivir. So no Yuumi available. Other answers, I mean, we could see, if we want to get real crazy for Rovex, you could see Sona, but I feel like Sona's mincemeat against Ahri plus Lee Sin. And the other one could see the Soraka again. really easy for Ari to set up angles on Soraka. That is really the big threat for Soraka. So Rovex will have to be careful this game. There is enough main engage for him to play in a chance just like this. It does counter Lulu in lane, but I mean, fear later, it could be tough, but no, it's a Rovex Pike Grape, something you're very familiar with.
Yeah, this throws a bit of a wrench into your expectations for this draft. The R5 Pike. Rovex, talking about people that can play multiple roles, originally was a mid laner with Columbia College before swapping down to support with Supernova and then onto Taco Gaming. So now in this new role is able to play a lot of different play styles. This Pike has been something that he has whipped out in the past. Maybe not to too much success, but we had his moments on this champion as well.
Now, when he was on Taco Gaming, they ended up winning that OQ, and a lot of it was actually through the Draven Pike bot lanes that Rovex was playing. Again, uniquely qualified on Pike, given the mid laner that he has in his background too. I know it's a champ Rovex is really comfortable on. It's all about the first couple waves, though. You got to take advantage of those first 3 levels here as Pike in this bot lane. It's not something that's going to buff up or protect the Zeri throughout the game. It's definitely a very different flavor, but we'll see if Rovex can execute it, as it is one way to get a lead in the bot side against FLYF.
A lot of really interesting picks around here to open up our draft, open up our second series of this lower bracket stage. FLYF and Team Liquid Honda first. 2 teams that we saw throughout the NACL, one of them going home after this best of 3.
I think the early game plan here for the side of TLF, I would leave Kennen to his own devices in the top side and really try and play around this bot side. Just make sure that Rovex can step up with the Halo Blades, with the Ignite, and take advantage of the early power that Pike can bring you.
See a lot of members stacked around the top side here for TL. Surdy, of course, with the advantageous lane range versus melee, at least early on. So it does make sense to set things up for him. This was the volatile top lane 1v1 that we kind of set up to be a big focus in this series.
Key for Surdy, likely an E start for him. Just use that to space Renekton and then get as many autos down as possible to just keep on applying that Airy. Chip down this Renekton so that he can never truly all-in you. Also, the Nasia going for Conquer, that's much more for team fight and scaling. Usually we see PTA in the range matchup, so I think he's already accepting this is going to be a tough lane for him to win. As that wait word from Aspect, we'll scout out where Hyper starts, and City Witty will have that information, as it looks to be a mirrored start for each of our junglers.
Does mean that Hyper has the opportunity to get a really, really nice path up to the top side early, maybe push Surdy out of this laning phase, give Lunacia a little bit of breathing room. And I'm curious to see what City does on this Vi, especially on this first clear, because you have a Pike in the bot lane for Rovex. Of course, the Zeri not necessarily the biggest scaler, but it could be interesting.
Surdy's playing that really well on the top side. Is that W start, getting the empowered auto. To just auto and W Renekton. He's got him really low early. That will be push for Surdy. Of course, Lee Sin is working his way up top, so Surdy will have to be careful around that third wave, and the Lee Sin will be up there on the timer. But at the moment, it is City looking to set up the reverse clear. So he's cleaning out his bot side camps, making sure these get out of the way, taking away the option for Hyper to invade him later, and each of our junglers will work towards that top side.
Interesting change of events here. I wonder what Instinct is gonna try to do. Oh my gosh, Boomerang Blade almost taking that away as Rovex throws out a Bone Skewer just for fun.
Gonna be dodged away. Still top lane. You can see how low Lunacia is being kept as Surdy, level 3, still doing a really nice job up here zoning out this Renekton. That's a big wave. Unfortunately, gonna miss that big creep. Surdy will want that one back, but Lunacia under threat. And that wave's big enough for Surdy that honestly he can't really be dove or jumped on by Lee Sin. So I really like how Surdy's managed this so far.
I remember when FLYF did play up against TLF in that last match of the regular season. Oh, hold on. There's a 2v2 erupting as a nice Bone Skewer comes out from Rovex. Sword still has the flash, but already has used that exhaust onto Mia. So Team Liquid first, getting the early lead in the bottom lane.
Gotta keep on using the Pike to apply pressure. I do like how Rovex did hold on to the Ghost. That,
oh my gosh.
I should say the...
There's a stun? Is that enough? Oh, Lunacia flashes away, but Surdy follows. That is first blood for the Team Liquid first top laner.
That's big. I mean, Lunacia, you got a base in TP. You can't enable yourself to get solo killed like that, because look at where the wave is for Surdy too. He can actually walk back and save TP, because that wave is already coming into him, as he's going to start with a Blasting Wand, sell a pot, pick up a health potion, he's actually going to walk it out. So really well done by Surdy. Again, we were really praising him for how well he lanes. He got counterpick into this Renekton, a champ that he's dominated a lot of top laners and challengers on. He takes the cannon, and man, that's already a big lead here for TLF. As Surdy has that TP too, so we can trade like a maniac, just base TP back and punish the Renekton.
And what I was saying before, of course, I traded the bot side was when these two teams first faced off against each other, I was excited for the top lane matchup, and then Surdy locked in a Cho'Gath. So I'm excited to see him on a champion with a little bit more agency, and we can see what he's done with that advantageous lane. He got the solo kill, and again is in a really good position to take his team to the finish line here in Game 1.
And City a bit late there on that look. A little bit of a bummer, as it will be boot start here for the Ahri, spamming out those abilities in lane. And TLF for City now, it makes it pretty easy for him. The fact that Surdy is winning this hard on the top side, we expected it to be about bot lane trying to snowball onto this Sivir Lulu, given the power of that lane early compared to later. This game plan is clear for City. He needs to attack bot lane. I will say the reverse clear doesn't set up the best for that, but I want to see him get involved down here and make sure that this Sivir Lulu is being set behind, because that really is the wrench in the plans for TLF. That Sivir gets going, that can really break what TLF wants to do later stages of this game.
See Rovex and City joining forces a little bit. This was the jungle support duo on that Taco Gaming roster in the summer split that did go all the way and win that championship. Of course, they were reunited, have found some struggles, but now an opportunity for them to make some noise in the mid lane. Blaze at half HP, gonna dash forward with the charm. Nicely executed as he forces the flash out of Aspect, and Hyper goes in and takes down the Annie. Bone Skewer in, Hyper might have gone a little bit too far. One trade back as City has joined the fray. Sword has to kite things out, and it will just be that 1-for-1.
Still, I think that trade, not bad for the side at TLF, because Aspect can actually TP back. We are still a ways away from the Rift Herald. We can see Robex is actually out on the map. They're going to look towards that top side for the dive here, Grapes.
I love seeing this roam out of Robex. This is what this duo did. Back in Tier 3, they're looking for an opportunity on the lane that has priority, and Surdy has an ultimate, Lunacia does not. There comes the slicing Maelstrom. It is all too easy, as Surdy will escape with his life and another kill onto the board.
I love when TLF are able to execute around Surdy, because again, he plays out his lane so consistently. First, we're going to take a look at mid. Aspect lands a big trade. Blaze hit 6 off that minion. That was the big difference. He was able to find that charm. It's a nice flash from Aspect. A better follow-up from Hyper. He eats the tower shot since Rovex is here, so he goes down. But that answer from FLYF, not bad, given that Blaze did hit 6, but the big difference is the top side and the play after Grapes. It's a huge win for TLF on this top side.
I love how the observers allowed us to watch the full speed up of Rovex and City, realizing that a big wave is crashing top, and this is the coordination that we wanted to see out of this squad.
It's just a sound game plan for TLF. Surdy, he gets the counter pick, takes the cannon. He's executed this lane so well, found the solo kill for himself, then sets up the wave to get the dive on the right timer. That's really sound play coming out of Surdy in the top lane, and TLF love how they're executing around it, what gives them a small lead early. Now let's see if they can turn this into a Rift Herald, because given this lead, you gotta imagine that TLF, this Rift should be theirs. Want to see if they can cleanly execute upon that.
Yeah, especially with all this just control that Surdy has on the top side of the map. Lunacia will have a wave crashing into him, which means that City has an opportunity with Lunacia, again, just a bit caught out. Surdy's going to go forward, and it's a tough spot here for the Renekton.
Honestly, love to see City get 6 before he comes back up here, just given the Herald spot, but there's no E on Renekton. They're just going to send it now, as Lunacia, he's about to take a lot of damage.
Yep, Surdy doesn't have the flash, but actually it might be enough to kill, forcing the dominance out of Lunacia, and the W is not enough to take his life.
City's going to help push that wave, and it looks like it's going to be a free Rift Herald going over to the side of TLF, so City was able to ding 6 off that wave too, so well done by City, just making sure that he has that level 6 before he starts this up. Both solo laners in the base for FLYF should mean a free Rift Herald for the side of TLF.
Pretty clean gameplay out of Team Liquid Honda first, Cubby. This is, again, two teams that got 2-0'd in the first round of the promotion tournament. Neither of them took a series in playoffs either, so we haven't seen them in winning situations very often, at least recently. City's going to pick up the Herald, but Hyper and Lunacia are here to play as well. City has hit 6, but here comes the slicing Maelstrom out of Sturdy. It's going to stun up 3. Aspect coming in as well with Tibbers, but Sword is here. FlyFam rotating beautifully around the objective, but I don't know if they can clean up anymore. Blaze is low, Lunacia is as well. Sturdy continuing to chase, does have the flash, but will not go over the wall to finish any more kills.
Rovex didn't have 6, but he was here. I think that's why FlyFam were backing off. That means that Mia was actually able to trade something out on the bot side. So given the answer for FlyFam, they went to match the play. Yes, they trade evenly in kills, but they still lose out on the Rift Herald, and they get no plates on that Sivir on the flip side. So it's just a straight up loss for FlyFam. Now with both teams getting back out on the map, TLF, they actually have first dibs on this Dragon too, and they're going to start that up.
I feel like we've seen a big glow up even between series in very quick fashion from Citywitty and from Rovex. These are two players that struggled a little bit throughout the duration of the NACL season, but are really coming together and making good plays around the win conditions for this team, which has been that top side.
Yeah, I mean, City going down there, he didn't have help on the Rift Herald. Maybe Kennen should have dropped down to give him a hand. That's one way that they could have avoided the fight. It still wasn't even trade though. Given the value of that slicing Maelstrom. But again, City, the direction that he's had in this game has been sound grapes. I like the fact that you're pointing that out. And now I think Rovex needs to hit 6, and we'll see if this Roam squad with the Annie can get anything done. That's actually pretty lethal to go up against. Vi, Annie, plus Pyke in mid game. That's a... Sounds like something you can pretty consistently snowball on the side of TLF.
We'll see if it can be done. Of course, for both of these teams, it's not been... You know, getting these leads has been closing the games out, specifically for FlyFam, but we've seen that out of Team Liquid as well. Surdy, of course, on the Kennen is a champion that can really take over fights, and I'm excited to see the different creative approaches that he has to getting TL the upper hand in a 5v5.
Mia did pop Cole, same with the Sivir, as both of our marksmen are scaling in this matchup. I think the threat against Mia is still going to be pretty lethal. In the 5v5, you're kind of teasing that, Grapes. There are some things, like Ari, if this is going to be the Everfrost, definitely something that he is going to have to be very wary of and dealing with. But with how far behind this Renekton is, that Zeri could really get things cooking in these fights pretty fast, you gotta imagine.
Yeah, both of these marksmen on very strong team fighting champions. Of course, it's kind of an arms race in this 2v2, in this 1v1 matchup. Who can get their items faster and snowball the game? We see Mia sitting on a lot of gold specifically, and maybe now mid lane under attack. Rovex is still level 5, but 3 members have stacked around mid for TLF. They land the Tibbers actually onto Blaze, forcing the wild growth out of Sword, as well as that Spirit Rush.
I mean, they just got 2 ults for 1. I'm not too good at math, Grapes, but I feel like that's pretty worth it.
It's a good trade.
Pretty worth it, as no objectives on the map at the moment. I think Lee Sin might be able to look here. That could be one of the dangers. There still is a Vi ult available for the side of TLF, so they're going to play for some plates.
See Hyper looking. I think if TL tried to pick up another plate on top of the Herald Crash, it would have been a good play for FlyFam to try and go for, but instead, they're going to look to invade the enemy jungle here with Citywitty. Hyper still in the area, has the smite, and surely will be some sort of contest, but it is TLF kind of strong-handing their way in to FlyFam and really taking control of this game.
Surdy's still able to get a lot of work done on the top side too as the Kennen, as TLF, they can keep on resetting. I think taking the Dragons on timer are going to be big for them. Again, I know that it's a Zeri versus a Sivir, where usually you think, oh, that's like pretty even scaling, right? We've seen Zeri and Sivir really take over a lot of these games, but the Lulu is the X factor. Lulu's scaling is absurd here for the side of FlyFam. Keeping Renekton out of the game and making sure that this continues to snowball, I think, is really important for TLF moving forward.
Yeah, they're up pretty comfortably right now, so it's a good sign. Rovex has it 6. You think he goes for another play on the top side?
That's what it looks like at the moment. I mean, Lunacia is at half, so a flash slicing Maelstrom could be big.
Yeah, there it comes. Dominus is out. I think that's just the execute. Not even needed is the death from below, as Surdy once again gets a kill onto Lunacia. Blaze has to ult away as well. TLF really in control of this game.
Only option for FlyFam is make a play bot. Ari doesn't have ult anymore, though. She does pick up a little bit of bonus health, but Mia playing this safely. Blaze could get in here.
Ooh, nice use of the Vault Breaker. Hyper was unable to find a kick back which gives time now for Aspect to go in. City Witty wants to re-engage, and Blaze has to burn the Hourglass early. Hyper comes in and takes down City Witty, and Blaze is still alive, but here comes Robex. He's still level 6. Ultimate doesn't find a damn thing, and Instinct going forward, picking up a double kill, but Mia responds all the same in a 3v1, but has so much damage at her disposal. Lands the W, but will not go for more.
Honestly, big win for FlyFam. I like the execute onto Blaze, but there are a couple moments in that fight where TLF thought they had kills and backed off, and a lot of it was the Lulu play from Sword. The ultimate saved Blaze, and he threw a shield on himself that actually saved himself from getting executed by Mia as well. As we're going to take a second look. I can't tell you the last fight where I've been like, hey, let's focus on Lulu. But honestly, this fight, I think Sword was the big difference maker. Is again, Blaze, he is here without ult. It's spotted. I love the aggressiveness, the call here from TLF. There is no ult on the Ahri, but here comes the wild growth. A shield, stopwatch, and flash will barely get Blaze out. As then Sword is able to find a reasonable exhaust here on the Aspect. Prevents a lot of damage, and Sword gets himself out with that shield, as Mia wasn't able to take him down. So the Lulu play coming up pretty big there for FlyFam to make sure that TLF, they get behind from that play, and FlyFam, they find a little bit of a win.
Yeah, was not expecting that to be turned around so well for FlyFam, and the aggression out of Instinct and Hyper too, to go together as a unit. It seems like it is Hyper instructing the rest of his team to make these really decisive plays, and it really paid off on that side. They're going to get the Dragon on top of it as City trades the Herald on the other side.
Well, I mean, Dragon and first brick, that is the best case scenario for FlyFam. If you look at how the rest of this early game has gone, that bot skirmish is massive for them. To give them something to get back in this. Yes, it will be traded out for the Rift Herald. The mid-outer will be a better trade for TLF, but hey, first brick, that's nothing to scoff at. Is now Mia gonna have to head for the hills a little bit. Thankfully, there's top prio for TLF. No play available, but FlyFam, good play from them. They get something back. This game was looking really dire if they lost that bot lane play. So really important they were actually able to get something. And now Aspect, he's actually in Narnia.
No tower to defend him this time. Blaze around here has the exhaust from the spell book, but Aspect actually doing a big chunk of damage. Here comes a teleport as well. Surdy looking to try and punish. Blast Cone onto 3, but the Slicing Maelstrom won't find anything. Only the stun on the Sword, who will be the sacrifice. But that could have been a whole lot worse for FlyFam. The chase continues on. Mia has the ulti, but doesn't even need it to lock down Blaze. 2 for nothing, TLF.
Nice TP coming in from Surdy as TLF able to turn that play around. Aspect was looking dead in the water, but guess what, Annie? She had more friends than just Tibbers behind her, as TLF was able to make sure that they got there in time. And now Surdy, I mean, he can get to work on his bot lane. TLF is a lot of gold that gets that back in their favor. And honestly, on the side of FlyFam, they have to start stacking up some MR. Look at how fed this Kennen plus Annie are. I know you don't want to do that going up against a Zeri, but god damn, I mean, how do you survive a Tibbers plus a Slicing Maelstrom if you don't have any MR? The Banshee's Rush is warranted from Blaze for sure, and we need more MR. I think on Hyper too, like, look at a Hex Drinker for sure.
I mean, Surdy has really won our top lane battle, our featured matchup coming into this series. You think it's like the student getting the first shot at the teacher in that last matchup, and now Surdy's just really putting his foot down this time around?
Yeah, I gotta say that last week of the regular season, that's what Grapes is referencing. Lunacia for sure got the best of Surdy in that best of 2. But hey, guess what? It's a best of 3. It's a do-or-die match, and Surdy, he's got more experience under his belt. Again, we really feel like both of these top laners deserve a spot in Challengers, just given, you know, their individual play. But Surdy, he's making full use of that. Grapes, as Lunacia is going to continue to feel the experience of what it's like to be behind on Renekton.
Can't even walk up to hit the wave. It's going to be 9 minions crashing into the bot side. Mid lane, 1v1 erupting here. Blaze getting really chunked out with the Tibbers. Aspect with another Incinerate. Could take down the Ahri, the flash forward, and the stun. Solo kill for Annie.
I mean, Blaze had flash ult. He's got to use that earlier. He was really trying to greet it there. That's a bad mistake coming out of Blaze, and Aspect just gets a freebie here. That's one way to make Annie.
Oh, here comes Mia. An aggressive jump in, but it's going to pay off because City Witty is buying so much time. Finally gets kicked back, taken out by Instinct, who has bought some space of his own. Mia has a shield bow popped. Hyper does not want to take that resonating strike in. Dragon not really available for either team just yet, but both teams feeling really aggressive as TLF might have bit off a bit more than they could chew.
I think they need to have Surdy there to combo with a Slicing Maelstrom. Just not enough damage from the Vi, especially into Lulu. Again, Lulu brings a lot of value with levels as Sword continues to pick those up and some items. As TLF Setting a trap for Lunacia. The student will not fall for that trap from the Master this time around. Graves says Lunacia, a little wiser to it, going to seed. But Surdy continues to build up that lead.
I'm hearing all these references, and now I'm thinking about Team Tony Top because their Twitter is exclusively Kung Fu Panda gifs. And it's just, I'm seeing like all these like things flash by my head, and they're not the team here. They already promoted in, so I don't know.
I feel like Surdy them with a slicing maelstrom, like that's the snap, you know?
True, the skadoosh.
The skadoosh. That for sure is the skadoosh this game.
Tony Top tweeted skadoosh as they qualified in. It was great.
Baller. I was a big fan of it.
Oh man, our first qualifier team into the NACL. Not a sponsor still, if anybody's looking to get into the ecosystem.
You know what we might need moving forward? We need someone, you know, because Kung Fu Panda is Jack Black. You see Jack Black promoting the Mario movie. He was just like, dressed up as Bowser on the Kelly Clarkson show. That's what we need next. We need Surdy to dress up as Kennen. We need the cosplays coming in.
Oh, well.
The boys are coming in.
Yeah, the boys are here to back up Surdy, I guess. This is not a great showing out of our star rookie Lunacia here. It's really been targeted heavily in this counter matchup.
That's one way to make sure that you have Dragon Prio. Just go execute Rex into the side lane with a TP. It's pretty easy for TLF. And yeah, they have full control over the bot side of this map. Should be able to turn that into an easy dragon. They're going to at least take mid-wave to make sure that they can take that priority. Surdy is going to go catch bot 2 as they skipped over that wave to make the play. And FlyFam, they're right in for the hills. They're going to see that one. Get an outer turret for themselves on the trade, but TLF still trading up.
The second dragon for them as the Infernal Rift is in play. Instinct gonna get a lot of gold here with that outer turret taken down. He is the kill leader for this team. We know that he has had the ability to carry team fights in the past with his time on TSM, now on FlyFam. And I think that FlyFam now they need to actually look towards the bot side of the map instead of the top side in order to find a way back in.
The saving grace is Instinct. Like once that LDR comes in, that is a lot of damage on the Sivir. And you can see City is actually going to rush that Randuin's Omen to try and be the front line to at least tank up Sivir. But it's going to be all about the executes moving forward for TLF. Again, you have Kennen, Vi, Annie, Pike. It's the wombo to make sure that the first kills go your way. You can snowball from that.
Oh, they're going right back in again. Mia is taking a lot of damage, actually. Look at the boomerang blades out of Instinct. Surdy with that huge slicing maelstrom. Exhaust doesn't mean too much, but it is enough to take him down. A shutdown onto Lunacia, and FlyFam have found the opportunity. A shutdown for Blaze as he dodges forward onto Rovex as well. FlyFam find the win. They're headed around the top side. That Baron is in play. Aspect
doesn't know he's on a ward. Okay, he does now. He drops a control ward. All right, TLF, they took the fight without Aspect. Everyone got so low off the opener, and now they can't contest this Baron. I mean, Instinct's low, but he can heal off the shields. Lulu's got him. This is going to go over to the side of FlyFam. They turn this game around.
Aspect has Flash R, but gets ever frosted by Blaze at a crucial time. Hook coming out of Rovex is big. Here comes Aspect. He takes down Lunacia. The Baron goes over to Team FlyFam. Another kill goes the way of Aspect, but not at a good cost. A triple kill, but at the cost of the Baron.
All right, well, the burn found sword in the back half, but still, I think Baron's well worth it for the side of FlyFam. They at least were able to keep it on Ahri and Lee Sin. And FlyFam, a great fight from them in that mid lane, Grapes. TLF, I think fighting without Aspect there was a big overextension, and FlyFam punished.
It was just one little fight. And, you know, Surdy, that exhaust onto him, I believe it was from Sword, as we can see that Summoner Spell on cooldown, was big enough. I mean, look at the items on Surdy. He has the Rocket Belt, a Shadow Flame, and Sword Shoes. Was not enough to take down FlyFam in this fight.
I mean, Aspect's not here. We're engaging onto a Sivir, who the Spell Shield was sound to flash out. Rovex Mia took so much damage off that opening. And yeah, Surdy goes in. It's a big slicing Maelstrom, but as you called out, the exhaust was big. Aspect is still walking here, so you just opted into a 4v5 as TLF. Mia flashed in to try and trade out someone, which honestly would have prevented the Baron, but just not meant to be. Aspect saving grace as everything was burned and TLF's ahead, but still TLF should not put themselves in that position.
Hey, I want to see how that third kill went down. Oh no, Sword. Oh okay.
My god.
Well,
oh my god.
The Annie's fed now. 6 kills. Leads team.
I'm really glad that the teddy bears I have next to me are not that one. That didn't look fun for the side of Sword, as he was just beat down by a walking dead bear. That's not a good feeling. But you know what is a good feeling? Baron buff and trying to take this mid outer, as Surdy will do his best to chunk out Lunacia, but that turret will still fall.
You see, the gold was a huge lead for TLF and has shrunk to less than 1,000, and maybe can increase a little bit more as FlyFam are continuing this push in the mid lane. Mia picks up the tier 2, which is certainly a big boon of gold, but FlyFam still have priority in the mid lane. It looks like this tier 2 is going to go down without much of a fight, and now can kind of do whatever they want here. They're rotating towards the top side. Maybe another turret is in the works.
Honestly, I'll take that though if I'm TLF. I just got 600 gold on Zeri. I think that's a-okay on their part. So I think big thing for TLF, getting that death cap done onto Aspect, and then having the next fight. Exhaust is back up because TLF didn't find one fast enough, but maybe finding a way to take down Lulu first, that Exhaust isn't a factor. I think Lulu's a big focus given everything she can do to buff up Sivir, but also take away that damage from Surdy. He is still ahead in this game. That Slicing Maelstrom still could be massive, but not if you're exhausted, which is what Sword should save that Summoner spell for every fight.
I think working towards a McHale's as well. Sword is going to be a really big, impactful player in these fights because of all of the magic damage and crowd control that TLF have. They're going to try to find Lunacia again, but this time maybe some backup in the works, staying alive for a while and long enough for a 4v3 to erupt. Teleport does come in from Aspect to make it an even fight. Mia not in the area just yet, but TLF not looking for a fight. They're just trying to space FlyFam out, waiting for the numbers advantage to go their way.
Still is another pick before Dragons. So the last two Dragons, TLF have been able to remove Lunacia from the map right before it spawns, giving them full control over the bot side. And a 5v4 on the Rift. Love how they only burned Vialt for that. I think the patience from Robax there was really good in the Pike.
Oh, Charm just barely getting dodged out from Aspect. Lunacia has TP in 10 seconds, but there's really not a good place to use that Summoner spell. So because of that, it will be FlyFam likely giving this one away. They will cede Infernal Soul Point over to their counterparts and look to trade with another wave crashing mid.
Props to TLF. I think they're playing through sides a lot better than FlyFam, as Lunacia is getting caught out there twice in a row now. Once from a, or I should say twice from a TP from Aspect. As TLF, they rinsed and repeated the same play, got the same result, picked up some gold, picked up that Dragon Soul Point. Will be very nice for them moving forward against FlyFam, who are starting to get a little bit scarier. Of course, with the scaling coming in from Sivir, who is also taking a pit stop for that Hex Drinker, which I think, again, is appropriate. And I'm shocked that we haven't seen that from Hyper either. Get a Hex Drinker, my friend. It's so valuable, this game. Where is it? I mean, 2 Cleavers?
I will say Instinct will be pretty happy in a potential 5v5. And you're talking about side lanes working well for Team Liquid, Cubby. I think we're seeing that in action once again. Not from Lunacia this time, but Blaze actually forced the flash out of Rovex. A really nice play in the double Rebel Frost. FlyFam coming out as well. Blaze survives the initial onslaught and now is looking for a fight. But Mia is fighting 1v2 and picks up the first kill onto the Ahri and chases down Sword for a double. Surdy into the back line, working really hard to get TLF back into this game. Mia arrives as well and picks up the 3rd kill here for Team Liquid, as now Hyper has to run for the hills with Mia ghosted, excited, and ready to tear apart the Lee Sin. Not enough just yet, as Sword somehow has survived. The laser barely getting dodged away from, but the final shot's not enough just yet. Mia is chasing, but not finding enough, as Instinct has finally arrived to the fight. The final laser will zap down Sword, and Mia gets a reset and will dash over the wall. It's a 1v1, a battle in Marksman, but Instinct is the one that will lose. A double kill onto Mia as she carries her team to a win.
If FlyFam are just split across the map, yeah, Blaze was able to burn so much time, but Instinct and Sword, they never joined the fight. Like, if they were actually able to walk up, I think that's a winning start from Blaze. He forced TLF to burn so many things to actually find the Ahri, but they decided to keep on pushing. They got nothing for it. Look at where the map is right now. If Sword and Instinct start walking up with Hyper here, I think it's playable, but Instinct, he is just sticking to the waves mid. Look at everything that Blaze was able to buy. The double Everfrost, it bought so much time. Hyper was actually able to get here in time, but Instinct, he's still hitting the mid wave. Go top, man. Ahri, he burned so much. I think that's a huge mistake here from FlyFam to actually not take the rest of this fight, given the start.
Yeah, I mean, it's either just let Blaze die or fully commit, and they did neither, and that allowed for Team Liquid to win. You can see in the picture-in-picture, they have started up the Baron, and with nobody from FlyFam in the area, it will belong to them. We thought that FlyFam had the angle back in this game, but Team Liquid showing up once more.
I'm kind of bummed that FLYF didn't actually walk up. Like, Blaze burned so much time. Everything was forced out of TLF there. I think if Sivir Lulu are there, it could have been the big turnaround for FLYF. Like, they have scaling options. The decision to not fight there, I think it was a winning angle for them. But now you're staring down a Baron, and they're going to have that Baron buff available to set up the ways for this Dragon Grapes. So it's a doomed game now for the side of FLYF.
And Mia is now so scary. 3 completed items, 3.5 with the last Whisper in inventory. It just can be Team Liquid forcing their way into the enemy base. They take down the top tier 3. Robex doing a bit of a solo mission on the Pike, reminiscent of G2 2019 potentially, but the gold lead right back to where it was before FLYF took the Baron at about 5k.
If it's 90 seconds until this Dragon, that's going to be Infernal Soul again for the side of TLF and Grapes. I really don't know how FLYF can play around this. You got to imagine it's got to be an Everfrost angle combo from Blaze on the Ahri. I feel like the best target at this point, it is Zeri, because she's down sums, but it's tough to get through the Annie as well, because of course you can just get point and click stun with the Annie Q. Really tough ask here for Blaze and FLYF, but I feel like he has to be the one that finds an angle.
Saw Blaze have a good fight, surviving long enough there, but really needs the full team to come together to potentially have a way back into this one. And FLYF, they're not really focusing on the potentially pressing problem, which is 4 members of Team Liquid first with Baroned up minions into the enemy base on the bot side.
Oh, that's a little dusty though. Ring around road. That's just free inhib. All right, cool.
Well then, that is, I don't know. That's an you said it best. Free inhib, and now Dragon spawning in 15 seconds.
They forced everyone to recall, and there's no control over the bot side river now either. So FLYF, I'd say maybe waiting a bit too long to try and do something, as now this is going to be a really tough spot for them to do anything. Aspect level 17. Flash available again onto Annie. See if the big wombo can get pulled off. See if they can get the Banshees off of Ahri as well. I think that's step 1 here for TLF if they want to execute.
Hyper had a little bit of a wraparound. Actually going to dive right in. Kick City Witty back in. That's a kill for FLYF as NACL picks it up. Still has the flash, the dominus on. And the Dragon now very much in favor of FLYF. Aspect though. And Surdy looking for an engage. The Dragon goes FLYF's way. But here comes the Maelstrom. Surdy going to burst down NACL as Mia is hitting onto the backside as well. Shutdown onto Aspect as that's a crucial target for Team Liquid. It's just a 2-for-1. TLF not wanting to continue the fight. They have super minis in the base.
I mean, I gotta say, City going for that control ward. You can let a ranged person take care of that, maybe. This is an unnecessary mistake here on the side of City. You don't need to stay for this ward. Dragon knocks him in, and Hyper, yeah, you should be going for this every time. Really good execute here from FLYF, as that did put TLF on the back foot. And that's an unforced error, I want to say, from TLF and City. I mean, this should have been Soul. They had Baron, they had to set up their way ahead, but City just getting one shot by everything made this fight really hard for the side of TLF, as they do end up dropping in the long haul, 2-for-1 in favor of FLYF.
I like the way that FLYF was able to play with the spacing there, because they knew if they walked too far forward, that's just a free angle for City to just for Surdy to just tear through you. So playing well with space, making sure that Kennen ult only landed onto 1, which allowed them to get that numbers advantage in the fight. Once again, though, need to play around these sides. Can Blaze survive long enough? There's the ulti. It gets Zhonya's away, but there's 3 members surrounding the mid laner for FLYF. He flashes away. Another dash with the Spirit Rush. Blaze stays alive, but Surdy gets a kill on the other side. Finally, Mia pops the ulti and gets one back as NACL is stuck in a really bad position. City Witty looking for a continued engage as the Maelstrom comes in from Surdy. Instinct has to use the Blast Cone to try and get away, but I don't know if it's enough distance. Mia flashes forward, is dominating on the Zeri, and will look to close out game number 1. Team Liquid first pick up 4, and they look to try and pick up another inhibitor on the top side of the map.
Surdy's gonna go fix mid wave. That's the last one they have to play for, but TLF, that fight, I mean, every side wave, it just feels like FLYF have no respect for what TLF can throw at them. It's been Rovex plus City attacking any side wave where FLYF is trying to hit it in the middle of the map, and FLYF keep on falling for the same trick from TLF.
it's been really well played out of Team Liquid here. It seems like, of course, FlyFam is getting caught out, but the angles that they have back into the fights don't look terrible, but the way that Team Liquid is able to play when it's on their terms to start the fight, it's allowed them to get the 6,000 gold lead. They have priority around this Baron that's spawning in 30 seconds, and looking like they are in a good spot to potentially close out this game.
I know that we've all heard about 2 chains, but what about 2 death caps coming in for TLF too? As they're hat on up, as that's going to feel real good on the Yordles of Kennen plus Annie. And yeah, they're going to be doing... They may be small, but they're going to pack a hell of a punch now. As TLF trying to find that stack again. Again, remove Banshees from Ahri. That's the call number 1, and then go from there as Hyper doesn't connect.
Ooh, might have walked a little bit too far forward. Gets stunned up. Not even the Wild Growth can save the Lee Sin as City Witty picked up the first kill of the engage. The Tibbers in the middle of FlyFam, tearing them to shreds, but Instinct is alive, and Instinct takes down Surdy. A crucial carry down as Mia in a 1v1 with Blaze will take the battle.
Mia, level 18, actually able to pull that one off. That is important as Surdy went down, though, holding that ultimate. He doesn't have TP, so FlyFam, they actually have a little bit of an angle here. They have to go back, though, and fix the wave. Sivir has so much wave clear, but do they mess with the bases at all? I mean, they could be a Nexus turret that drops if TLF
look at the minions.
Enough to step up. Yeah, there are a lot funneling into that base. I think that it's going to be pretty close and enough where FlyFam, they have to fully reset this Dragon. It will go over to TLF.
Baron Nashor once again in the hands of Team Liquid first.
Yeah.
This game has suddenly gone really long. I don't know what happened. We were having some fun with some team fights, and it's suddenly 35 minutes.
I feel like we're still having fun with these fights. It's like just Walkman and fist fight. That's kind of where this game is. But I think we got one last fist fight as TLF had Baron on their shoulders as they dropped the last Dragon because City got picked. Guess what? They got round 2 Electric Boogaloo as it is Baron up TLF, and again, Dragon Soul on the table for them in this game.
I think unless something, again, goes horrendously wrong like it did with City in that last Drake, this should be the finishing touches on this game. The question is how strong
up here
can TL really be? How much can they do to actually win them the game here?
I'm surprised that Rovex was dropping wards up there. It's just, yeah, it's Dragon time. Yep, fully commit. There we go. Yeah, take away all the plants, all the vision. Force FlyFam to at least play through this mid lane. So we'll see how fast TLF hit this. As total control for them. And Aspect in a really nice pocket here. As that's going to hurt.
Oh, Tibbers onto Hyper, already chunked out to half.
Why not?
There is a level 18 Sivir on the enemy team. FlyFam still have a good opportunity if they can fight front to back in the right way. Dragon at half HP. And Hyper looking to get into the pit. It's going to be a flip, and it goes the way of FlyFam. City Witty has to flash out, but now Surdy is TPing into the base. A double TP as the Maelstrom will clear away the minions. TL, they just have to stop the base. There's too many members in the enemy Nexus. It has gone down, and that is how this game ends. Team Liquid strike first over FlyFam.
Oh, I don't know why we're still flipping dragons at that point, but I guess that's one way to end the game. As the minions not being dealt with earlier on, that comes back to bite FlyFam. TLF take game 1. A lot of praise, deservedly so, goes over to Surdy that game. I feel like how he played the Kennen and what he did to open up the rest of the map for TLF and City just focus on mid and bot. He was more than self-sufficient on that top side. Him getting ahead and TLF playing through sides much better than FlyFam. Big difference in that game.
I'm still confused as to how that is what ended the game, and just that game
got weird bad
as a whole. I mean, FlyFam had some opportunities, but it was TL at the end of the day that, as you said, played around Surdy, the main character, and he was the one who hit the Nexus last.
He's damn good. If I'm FlyFam, I take red side. I do not want to give Surdy counterpick. I think I really focus on that in this next game.
Yeah, FlyFam, our NACL provisional team, now in a bit of a tough spot. One more loss sends them out of the promotion tournament. We'll see if they can come back after this.